I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. Hey, what's up, campers? I'm Justin Davis. Let's talk about the Skyzone. They are the Sky02S V+. I just got these in last week, and I've been working with them, and I've been flying with them quite a bit over the weekend and during the week, and just trying to get a feel for them, and so I can give you an honest opinion and a good review on these goggles. Now, how do they compare to something like the Amway Commanders or the HD3s by Fatshark? Fatshark goggles are kind of a standard in the industry, and sort of an alternative to those have been the Amway Commanders for quite some time. These are the version 1 ones, and I was really excited when these came out because it was an alternative finally to something like a $500 set of goggles like the Fatshark HD Dominators. But aside from the Amway Commanders, now we have some great Skyzone goggles, and a lot of you guys have been asking me to review some Skyzone goggles for quite some time, actually a couple years. So I'm excited to show you my first set of Skyzones on the Drone Camps channel. Let's go ahead and put these on the bench. I'll show you what I like about them, I'll show you some of the features, and I'll give you my opinion on what I think about these versus some of the more expensive and the more popular goggles out there on the market. Alright guys, let's just go ahead and jump right into this review. I love these goggles. The Sky02s are really nice for around $350. I felt like they were just as good as my Fatshark HD3s. Now the only big giant difference between these two goggles is the fact that this one has a fan, this one does not. This one accepts a diversity module, which is going to allow you to plug in different third-party types of modules with diversity, and with this one you're stuck to what's on there, but you can still use 2 antennas. You can use a patch here, and you still have diversity on here. You just can't switch them out to something like the LaForge module or the True D. So that's your big plus on Fatsharks, but these are also $550 versus $350, and these actually have a lot of the same features and actually some easier to access features on here in the menus. Felt just a little more natural navigating the menus in this versus my traditional Fatshark HD3s. And I also like the menus in these even a little better than my Amway Commanders, and you guys know I'm a big fan of the Amway Commanders. Anybody that's new and getting into FPV, for the last 12 months I've been telling them to just start out with a pair of Amway Commanders. They'll be totally happy with it. If they like FPV, they can move up to the Fatshark HDs and go full in. But if you're not totally dedicated to whether you're going to fly FPV for the next year or not, you should start out with something like the Sky02s, mainly because you have everything on this one minus a fan and module support. You also have a DVR, a built-in DVR in here. You have 48 channels to choose from. You have HDMI out, auto search, 854 pixels by 480, switchable also between 16:9 and 4:3 TV ratio, and you have 5.8 reverse diversity receiver in there, and a nice DVR accessible by micro SD card at the bottom here. The Skyzone 02s, they also come with 2 sets of different color antennas, and you can put these on either side here, but this is what I recommend. I recommend that you get right-hand circular polarized antenna, something like a Pagoda 2 on one side, on the left side here, and over on this side use something like the Immersion RC right-hand circular polarized SpiroNet patch antenna. Now I did run these stock with the stock antennas on there, and these ran absolutely fine. I ran way out into the field, a football field or more, with my FPV setup, and I had no real problems with the video at all. Now what I thought was pretty cool about this bundle too is the fact that they're very generous. They do give you 2 sets of antennas, but they also give you some extras in here, which is super cool. You also get a stereoscopic 3D camera in this bundle, which is kind of crazy. Like, I don't know if you've ever flown 3D FPV, but this is actually a lot of fun. I'm not totally sure about how bad the lag is on these, but I've used other 3D setups, and this is essentially just 2 FPV cameras wired into one connector on the back. And these work pretty interesting because everything all of a sudden becomes full 3D. Some people don't like it, some people think it's a little bit weird, but I found it interesting, but not something that I'm going to do all the time. And I think again, for the price that this goggle set is priced at, I think it's very liberal. They also give you another type of strap if you want to use the over the head strap. They give you this 3-way strap here, and this goes to the front right here on the faceplate, so you can bring it up over your head and around the sides. So you have a choice of those 2 style straps. And what's also cool about this is this can come off on the side right here, and you can add some third-party type straps. Something like the Pretty Fly straps are pretty cool. These have a lot of different patterns. I'll try to put their website down below. I love these guys. They have some really cool funky straps you can add on your Fatsharks or your Skyzones. Now you also get two other types of faceplates inside here. You get this rubber one, which is kind of an old school 2015 looking type of rubber apparatus that goes in here without the faceplate. I don't really like these, so I just kind of set that to the side. But they also give you this sort of, it's kind of a plastic foam type of faceplate. It's different than your sort of traditional foam, soft. This is more like a rubber coated. So this one might actually last a little bit longer. And it has some 3M adhesive on the back here that will just stick right down. And this should be compatible right on the faceplate right here, which is kind of nice. They give you two options. I think this one might make me sweat a little more in the summer. Might be a little bit hot, so I use this one. This one's nice and comfortable. Now the Sky02s fit right in this nice case, and the top closes right here, just like that. It does seem like it's gonna be a little bit hard for this faceplate to go in here. Maybe it goes the other way. I'll just put them in upside down, see if I can close them up. So this case is a little bit tight with this larger faceplate, so that's kind of a bummer that it doesn't fit in there. Now my other gripe about goggle manufacturers is the fact that most of the cases that they make, even the Fatshark cases, are too small to put the goggles in the case with your antennas on. So if you're going out to the field and you want to take care of your goggles by putting them in the case, every single time you do this, you're going to have to take these antennas on and off. It's just not going to happen getting those inside the case. And it doesn't look like they will fit in there very nice with the faceplate on there, but you'll have to pop this off and just put it over here on the inside. They should just pop right off once they do that. Okay, that's not bad. So then I can put them in there, flatten them out, and you can take the faceplate and do something like this, or put it up in this mesh pouch right here. Now they fit in there, and I can probably get my antenna up in here and my patch antenna there. Get those in like that, close it up. So now everything fits in the case, but you're gonna have to break them down like that if you choose to travel with them. So that might be one con of the Sky02s, but everything fits in there nicely, which is cool. Now what's also cool is you get plenty of cables in the box. They're not shy on giving you all the different data cables and video cables that you need for your goggles. Some of the goggles, the other goggles on the market, kind of lacking, but this is cool. They do give you a Futaba data cable for you Futaba guys. They give you a JR camera cable, which is also pretty cool. That goes out of the same slot on the right-hand side on the bottom where it says track out, which is kind of nice. They also give you a Y-Fly, this is W-Fly data cable. This is a little bit different than what I've seen as well. They also give you some AV out cables. This is kind of nice. They plug right into the bottom here. And if you wanted to, on AV out, come out right here, you can go out to like a 7-inch monitor outside of your goggles and let someone else standing near you see what you're flying, which is pretty cool. A lot of people that walk up and see me flying when I have a monitor, they kind of hang out a little bit and they're really interested to see what FPV is all about. So this is kind of a cool option. Also, if you wanted to have an external DVR on monitor recording a second backup from this DVR, you can do that as well. And they also give you a 2P TX power cable as well, and a 3P TX remote control cable here. This will also hook up. And they also make a separate HDMI A-D separate type of purchase cable that you can plug into your HDMI port that's on the bottom here. This is on the left-hand side. On the very bottom, you can see right here. I'll show you guys a close-up of the goggles so you can see where all the different ports are and the buttons on top. We'll start out on the left-hand side of the goggles, and I'll show you these buttons here. This is the camera button, the photo button, and the record button there for your DVR. You can take a photo still as well of what you're seeing on your FPV screen. It's kind of neat, but this is the neatest button to me, the camera button. There's a little tiny video camera on the front of these Sky02s, so if you hit camera, all of a sudden you're seeing the outside world from the inside of your goggles, which is nice, mainly because if someone walks up to you and starts talking to you and you're feeling like they're a little bit sketchy, just hit that camera button and then you can see them and they don't realize that you can see them. So that's kind of a cool feature that they have, that little camera on the front of these goggles. I believe also the Sky03s have them as well, sort of the larger and more expensive version, the $500 version of Skyzones. Now over here on the right hand side we have a few more buttons for up and down here, and this bottom one is track for your tracking, and you can get into the various menus with using some of these buttons and change some of your bands, change channels and bands on there. I believe there was like 48 channels on this particular set of goggles. Now over here on the left hand side, that's your track out port right there, and you have right in the center right here, you have these two little adjustment points, and those are going to adjust your view, your lens view inside. So if they look a little bit blurry to you, just go ahead and adjust each eye until it comes in full focus, and then you can leave them set there. And they're kind of recessed a little bit, so they're not going to get moved too much. You can kind of see how they're a little bit recessed. Now over on this side, we have a bunch of different stuff here. This is where your micro SD card will go in. You have an audio port right here. You have your AV out port. You have your AV in, and you have your HDMI in right there. Now what I also find kind of cool about these goggles is the fact that it is compatible with other transmitters out there. So other 5.8 gigahertz transmitters like Fatshark, DJI, Walkera, and Bosscam transmitters. Now probably my favorite part about these is that they also give you this XT60 cable that comes along with it. Now you can use a battery with a barrel connector straight into here, and it'll be compatible with anything from a 2 to 4S battery. It has a huge voltage range on this set of goggles from like 7 to 26 volts. So you're almost safe with just about any type of 2 to 4S battery you own. If you get low on using something like a 3S 2200, this has a great battery life, and these last a long time. 2200, you can plug this in and put it in your jacket pocket while you're flying, and it just makes the goggles a little bit lighter on your head instead of having a battery kind of hanging off this strap. But they do give you the option to kind of stuff one of those Fatshark style batteries on the side here. Some people like to fly like that, but I kind of like to take a larger battery and just stick it in my jacket pocket or in my pants pocket. It's kind of cool to lighten up the goggles. And a 3S 2200 is what I would definitely recommend to power the Sky02s. Now what I normally recommend is go ahead and plug in your cable first into the goggles, and then go ahead and plug in the XT60. That way, if your power is started here and you plug them in here, I'm always afraid that I'm going to fry them. So I would probably just make sure that you plug them in here first instead of plugging them in this way backwards. Plug the battery in last. That's always probably the best option. And you can hear them beep when they start up. Now for you guys that do fly multi-rotors or fixed wing that have head tracking type movements, and you'd like to have some type of camera move left and right when you look left and right, you do have that option, like I was showing you guys before with this track out option. It's very simple to set up. In normal mode, you just short press to reset the head tracker, and you hold down the menu button 3 seconds to enter into the menu setup for head tracking. Once you're inside the menus, you can switch 4 main menus with the same button. So I was telling you guys about that audio video out option before. Check this out. It actually outputs the sound and the video. So you can hear my feedback there coming from that channel. Pretty cool because it is in nice real time. And I can look around the shop there, and it's pretty fast frame rate. So anybody that's watching this next to you while you're flying this gun, they're going to get the full experience outside of being in the goggles. That's pretty cool. And this is just the regular audio video out cable plugged in right here and going into my monitor into the back of the component in right there. And like I was showing you before on the up down channel button right here, if we press down, it's going to switch through your various channels, and you're going to see that the audio video signal goes away. When I flip back around and I finally find that channel again, it's going to send the signal back out to the monitor when I do get it back up. And there we go, it's back up. And you can also switch bands on there, which is pretty cool. You can just go through your various bands. You can swing all the way around back to the band you were on. If someone asks you to change bands, it's pretty easy to do that. Now what I also think is a cool feature of the Skyzone02s is the fact that I can see my band and my channel, and that I'm recording inside the goggles here. I can see the time code come up. When I press record once, the video starts recording. When I press it again, it stops. And then it goes away from the top of the screen, so it's kind of neat. When I cycle through my bands over here on the right hand side of the goggles, if I'm cycling through, I also see what channel up at the very top of the screen across the FPV view, what band I'm on or what channel I'm on, if I'm changing channels going up or down either way. But when you record inside a DVR, it doesn't show you that information up at the very top of the screen, which is also nice. And if you want to go further, you can press on the track button right here and it'll take you inside another menu, and then you're going to be able to change things like your PWM settings for your head tracking. You can go in there and make tilts and adjustments inside those menus for getting your head tracking to work perfect. This is also a pretty cool feature. Also inside that same menu, if you scroll over, you'll be able to change the brightness and contrast of the goggles for your FPV view. So if you want to make more color saturation, brightness and contrast, and that stuff is also in there. There's also a format for, you can go in and format your SD card in that same menu as well. So I feel like these are a pretty feature-rich set of goggles that Skyzone has made in a pretty affordable range with a nice Fatshark style goggle faceplate. Now, while I can honestly say that my Fatshark HD3s are kind of my favorite, these are more comfortable to wear for my particular head. And I also like the fact that it has the DVR recording across the top of the screen momentarily when you press record, and then it goes away. Over here, it just gives you an audible beep, and then you're recording, and then you have to remember to press that button again and stop it. Same thing with the Skyzone 02s. You have to press record again to make sure that it stops and finishes the file. Now, out of all three pair of these goggles, I'm gonna say that probably the Sky02s are probably the most comfortable fitting for me and my head. The Amway Commanders are okay. They feel actually pretty light. If you want a lightweight pair of goggles, the Amways are probably the lightest ones, with the HD3s being the heaviest. But if you are just getting into FPV, I could definitely recommend the Amway Commanders, the Skyzone 02s. I would probably start here with the Skyzone 02s. If you're really into FPV, go ahead and move up to something like the Fatshark HDs, and then you'll have the open source for using a different type of third-party module bay, which is kind of cool. The Forge or True D is really, really rich. Now, I also do like the fact that I can go into the menus here and I can see what band and channel I'm on right on my FPV screen, versus having to kind of take my goggles off and look at this little screen on the side here. So that is definitely a plus of the Skyzone 02s. So the things you've heard about the Skyzone 02s in this video, definitely something you could think about and go over again, maybe watch this video again for the second time and see if you like some of the features that the Skyzone Sky02s have versus something like the Fatshark HD3s. There's big differences between the two. Like I said, I think this is the most comfortable pair. This is probably one of the nicest pair in the bunch, but these are in the $500 range. These are in the $350 range, and I believe these came down from $300. So these might be getting a little bit cheaper because these are the, like I said, these are the original version of the Amway Commanders version 1. And I just looked again on GearBest's site, and I think they actually dropped these below $300. So this is pretty amazing. And I'll just do a live search for you guys on their site and look up the Amway Commanders again, and I'll double check that latest price for you guys. So I'm looking at those, and these are currently $299. I think with the same coupon RC18 off, you can get them for around like 18% less than $299. So maybe the $275 range. But the same thing with these, they're going to be in the same price range. But over these two, I would go for the Sky02s for sure. And also check out the other Skyzones they have on their site. They're the awesome, the Sky03s. They're black, sort of gunmetal color. And those are very comparable to the HD3s. And I think they'll probably fit and feel a little bit better on your head, because I do have some problems with light leaks on the side of my HD3s, but I'll try to include all the links for these goggles and the other ones that I mentioned in this video down in the description below. But thanks again for watching this review, guys. This has been the Skyzone Sky02V+ goggles, and these are a set of goggles that I would absolutely recommend to anybody getting started in FPV, young or old. This is going to be an excellent pair of goggles, and plus you have a little tiny video camera there. That's pretty cool. So thanks again for watching, you guys. I'm Justin Davis. This has been a little detailed review of the Skyzone Sky02V+s. Pretty sweet goggles. I'll see you on the next one.